Fresh fruit in my blender, pinch of ginger, great blood cleanser. It's the art of good nutrition. No graveyard inside the kitchen. Low salt, no hypertension. No junk food goes in my engine. Strictly fruits and veggies, beans and seasoned nuts and berries pimping. No dairy milk I'm pouring. It's just water, honey, almonds. Wake up early in the morning. Give thanks, baby, slice of orange. Drink water, stay hydrated. My health, I won't violate it. So thankful for my lady. Vegan mashed potato gravy. She made it with lots of love. You got them pots on fire, baby. Faithful to my dialogue. When we fast, I like it raw. Coffee causes high cholesterol and makes you feel.
My name is Nathalie. I'm a full-time student at John Jay College. I'm studying forensic psychology, and I'm also a member of the Answer Coalition, which stands for Act Now to Stop War and End Racism.
So tell us, how did you used to eat?
Well, when I was living with my parents, my mom used to cook every day, so it was just basically rice. Every day we eat white rice, some sort of meat, and beans. That was a staple of our dinner almost every single night. So variations of that, but pretty much that was what I would eat every day, and then maybe potatoes or vegetables, but I wouldn't go a day without eating white rice for like the first 13 years of my life. So yeah, it wasn't until I moved out that started changing a little bit, but other than that, that's pretty much how it was.
What made you make the transition to a plant-based diet?
Well, as I started trying to eat healthier and realizing that as I read more into the benefits of eating more vegetables, not taking in so much meat, the harms of animal proteins, and how you really shouldn't be eating meat on a daily basis, let alone for every single meal. I started to just pull back a little bit. So even prior to that, I remember maybe about 7 years ago, I gave up eating beef just for personal reasons, because I just have an affinity for cows, so I felt bad. And then I just gave up pork after that, and so when the time came to start giving up the rest of the meat, it really wasn't that difficult because it was just chicken and turkey. So yeah, it was very gradual. It went from, just eating like 3 times a week to then just realizing like, why should I eat it anymore? I don't really need it. So it was more for health purposes than anything else.
And what benefits or changes have you noticed when you make the transition?
I don't hate myself after every meal. Like I don't feel so tired and exhausted, and like you need a nap after every meal, and food is so like a drug as well, because you have a lot of food and it makes you feel so good at the moment when you're eating it, and then right after you finish eating all this junk food or all this really heavy food, you feel horrible. Like you feel like you don't feel good about yourself. Whereas now when I eat mostly vegetables and just more whole grains, I feel content. I don't feel like completely full, and I feel like I have energy. It actually feels like I'm fueling my body to continue on with my day with whatever else that I have to do.
And what kind of benefits or have you noticed now that you are pregnant?
Well, I'm hungry all the time. I want to, honestly, it's true, you do get a lot of crazy cravings, but I just try to make sure I always have something in hand so that I don't feel so tired. You get really tired, especially in the first trimester. I was exhausted all the time, and so making sure that I just had that energy source, something to take in at all times so I didn't feel so drained by my day, is definitely better, if I'm hungry, than to go eat a cheeseburger or something. It's much better to go eat a piece of fruit or a shake or a smoothie or, a piece of avocado or something like that.
Can you actually give us more an example of what you eat on a daily basis?
Yeah, so the basic things that I eat almost every day, I try to cook almost every night during the week. We mostly broccoli, cauliflower, zucchini, yellow squash, sweet potato, butternut squash. I always have some sort of whole grain, so I've replaced rice entirely with millet, which is cooked exactly the same, and it has that same feel to it if you cook it even with beans, but it just has so much more nutrients in it. It's not those empty calories. And I just try to make kind of the healthy version of all the comfort foods that I like to eat before. So, you know, you don't feel like as if you're eating the same thing every single time. So I always just try to mix it up and just take out the meat and the fatty part of whatever food I liked and replace it with something good, you know. So if it had white potato, put sweet potato in it, you know. If it has oil, you just put the oil after you cook it, you know. So it becomes a lot easier once you get more used to it, and now that it's been like a year and a half since I became vegetarian, so it just becomes a lot more streamlined to do. It's not that difficult to think about what you're going to eat next.
Have you enjoyed cooking more vegetarian or plant-based diet, or how has it affected your cooking skills or cooking in general?
It's more fun because it's almost like a challenge, because given my cravings sometimes, I'm like, oh, I want to eat something salty, something like sweet, something whatever, but I don't want to give in to something unhealthy. So I'll start looking up, well, how can I do this in a way that's not going to be harmful to me or to the development of my child. So, you know, like I wanted potato salad, so I went and I got sweet potatoes, and you make it with veganese, and it's just so much better than just like that mayonnaise filled, you know, regular potato salad that we all grew up eating. Well, at least like in the Latino family, like we eat that all the time. So it's fun. Like it's fun to try to experiment new ways to do it, and just also I like feeding my friends it and then not telling them what it is, and then just eating it. And I tell them afterwards, well, all of that is vegetarian, or it was like completely non-dairy, or there was nothing in there that like you probably wouldn't have eaten this if I would have told you what it was. And so I like kind of opening their eyes up to saying that, you know, being vegetarian or partly vegan is not boring. It does not mean that, you know, your life is you're gonna be eating grass. You know, that's not what it means.
You mentioned the sweets. You mentioned you know, making it more challenging. But what other obstacles have you faced when you made the transition to a plant-based diet?
Well, when it comes to going out, like when you're home, you can control what you eat so much. So you just go to the supermarket, make sure you're taking in the right things. So when you're home, you're not tempted to eat those bad things because it's not even available to you. But then when you go out, it's just like, it's just much more difficult. And also because it's what's available to you. So for vegetarians, what a lot of us end up becoming are what we call carbitarians, because what is more available to us to eat is bread and cheese all the time. So yes, my weakness is definitely cheese, like, but I just try to limit it as much as I can because it is still animal protein. But I'm a New Yorker and I love pizza. So, you know, as long as I allow myself that kind of leeway once in a while, I don't feel so bad about it. But I've also learned to, when you go out to eat, don't be afraid to ask for something that's not written in the menu. Like if you see that they have this for this plate and that for that plate, then you can ask them, well, can you just make a plate like this, adding these ingredients? You know, I see that you have them anyway. And most of the time, you know, they'll comply with you. You know, they just want to make the customer happy. They want you to come back. So I've realized that I've had a lot of good, experiences with just going to restaurants and asking for something that's not exactly on the menu, but I know that they will be able to provide for me. So just not being afraid to try something else, and just not giving in to the real easy, you know, quick bite to eat.
Lastly, anything else you'd like to add, or any other obstacles or any differences you've noticed with being pregnant and being in, for example, at the clinic with other pregnant women who don't follow a plant-based diet?
Yeah.
Anything else that you've noticed?
Yeah, definitely. you know, I've gotten a lot of, I mean, just being pregnant in general, you're kind of, our society, for some reason, people feel the need to just start imposing their ideas and opinions on you. And some people mean well, and some people just don't. Some people just want to give you advice because they think they know best because they have like 6 kids. And I've noticed that a lot of the time, you know, people kind of look at me in a way, in a worrisome way, that I'm not taking in a lot of dairy, like I don't drink milk. And I don't have meat, so they're like, oh, well, how are you getting protein? And then when I tell people, well, most people have way too much protein in their diet. Like they're eating like 4 times the amount of protein that they should be eating. That's why at 12 years old I was like 5'7", huge. You know, like most kids grow and develop way too fast, way too big. So when I start telling them, you know, well, I know how to take in my calcium, I know how to take in my protein, you know, I just take it in other ways, through leafy greens, through tree nuts, through just like a variation of other plant-based foods. You know, it's just, I get a lot of skeptics, but at the same time, I don't let their opinions kind of let me go down, because I know that what I'm doing is best for my child. You know, nobody ever tells the pregnant woman that's going to McDonald's every day, oh, well, what are you doing to your kid? You know, like, do you know how bad that is for your kid? And I just find that so contradicting, because that is so much more unhealthier for her growing child inside of her, who needs more nutrients and almost empty calories, than me, who wants to just not eat meat and not take in dairy all the time. So it's just being strong about your ideals and what you want to do, and just sticking to it. You know, don't let other people's kind of ideas and opinions just like intimidate you, because it's just out of ignorance.
Thank you so much.